So we wanted to talk about some problems that we found with the correct Trammel toy in the teacher course. First of all, you can't find the correct Trammel toy in problem 2.4.1. So there's all these things here, including the incorrect parts in assembly, but not the correct. So to find the correct one, you have to go to General Student Teacher Resources in your teacher guide and 3D printing resources. And where you get to incorrect corner blocks and correct corner blocks, here's the correct one. The Fusion 360 file does include the assembly for all of it, not just the corner blocks. So that's a little confusing. But this is the correct one to download and then upload. Now, here's the problem. When you bring that correct one in, and I'm going to turn off the joints just to, if we take a look at this and zoom way in, you will notice that there is a gap in the two blocks that have a protrusion that goes down into the base. So when we measure the base, it's 0.24, and when we measure the protrusion, make sure I get all of it, it is 0.25. So I thought, okay, I bet that they meant to make the bases 0.25 and not 0.24. So when I go to look at the base, double click on it, and we can then turn that on by going and activate it by using that little radio button. Now it gives us just the information for that part. And we look at the extrusion, double click on it, and it has a parameter in there instead of a thickness. So, okay, that's interesting. Let's go to the parameter. Then we can, by the way, go back to our Trammel toy by activating the topmost component, but I still want to see this. So I'm going to look at the parameters for this. I might need to go back into, where is it, modify? Yeah, change parameters. And they've created a whole parameter table in here, including the thickness of 1/4 inch MDF nominal, which means that they must have measured a piece of 1/4 inch MDF, medium density fiberboard, and it came to 0.24 inches. So for the purpose of actually making this stuff to reality, we shouldn't mess with that thickness, which means we're going to need to mess with the other thickness of the protrusion. So here's how to do that. First of all, I'm going to activate the highest most component. Is to go into, double click on the block to find it. We're going to activate that block. Now we can go in here and find different sketches that made, or find that extrusion, find the sketch that made it. So somewhere in here, you might have to poke around a little bit. I think it's that one. There it is. And we can now change this dimension from 0.125, they made it 1/8 of an inch, to 0.24. Now this might also help for half of 0.24. My bad, 0.12. There we go. Finish. And then when we go to turn that one on, now we've got a good fit. Now this might also matter for your 3D printed parts, because if we're getting something with too long of a protrusion, it may not fit when you 3D print these. So the same thing's happening with this one. That protrusion you can't see. I'm going to, go over here and activate that. The little button had a hard time showing up. Find the sketch where I'll bet that is. Oh, it's the extrusion length this time. This extrusion was 0.25, and I want it to be negative 0.25. I want it to be negative 0.24. And hopefully that fixes that. Yes. Okay. So now we have an actual correct device that we can take a look at and compare to our incorrect one to make those corrections. Okay, I hope that wasn't too confusing. Good luck, and we'll see you soon.